What is up, everybody? This is Aaron Hass, and this is the Love Works podcast, and this is a good episode. I'm here with two amazing guests. That's right, two amazing guests. Really, one amazing guest, and then their partner. So this is going to be a fun episode. We've got one guest. She's in the health and wellness field. She works with people that need help. And we've got one guy. He is one of the top 10 gas station workers in the United States right now. He is a legend. There are two of my amazing friends, and I'm putting one up for adoption after this. So I'm very excited about this episode. Message us on Instagram if you would like to accept him for adoption. We'll pay you, actually. So we've got Jose Velez and Barbara Reese on this episode. How are y'all doing?
Hey yo.
Hi guys.
I'm good. I'm good, Aaron.
It was the longest intro ever.
Just clarification before we get into how
we're paying them to take you. Yes.
No, I thought we were talking about Barbara.
No, it's you.
I'm up. Well, we had a good podcast, guys. We will catch you guys next week on the Love Works.
Jose said, "What, me?"
I'm joking. I'm great, man. I'm great.
Yeah, dude, it's good to see y'all. Barbara, you're in like you work in the hospital.
I do. Yeah.
Right. So tell the world a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I'm a labor and delivery nurse at our local hospital. I'm typically with the moms who are in labor, getting ready to have their baby, but sometimes I'll work in the nursery. So taking care of the babies after they're delivered.
Do you ever have any moms like back out? They're like, actually, I don't want this. Keep them in there.
I have had moms that come in. They're like, yeah, we're going to get induced. But then we start the process and they're like, I want to go home. And so then we discharge them home. And then they come back when they're ready.
Wow. Jose, have you ever had that happen to you?
Yeah, a couple times actually. This morning I was driving to church and saw this woman. I was like, hey, are you good? And she's like, no, I'm about to have a baby. And I was like, don't do it. And she's like, okay. And she
No. I was talking about, have you changed your mind
about having a baby?
Having a baby.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, I got 12.
You have 12.
That was a joke. People at home.
That's good. All right. So tell me a little more about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, I genuinely saying this, I love my job and I love the people that I get to just help. And I mean, like, birth itself is, I'm not going to lie, it's gross. Like, there's bodily fluids, there's a lot of things happening. But getting to see like a baby take its first breath, like, what the heck? It's awesome. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, I love my job.
That's awesome. Jose, tell the world a little bit about yourself, my man.
Yeah, well, I think first things first, I'm a feminist, just as a human being.
Cut
I'd like
the
tape. Wait, I actually really like this.
Yeah, man, who's Jose? That's a great question. I feel like I'm in a pretty interesting place in my life right now. As Aaron mentioned, some of you guys may not know, I work at a gas station right now, which is crazy because I never thought I'd do that. Yeah. I'm just in a really interesting place. I'll kind of give you a long story in a slightly shorter version. This might take up the whole episode, actually. Depends on how I'm feeling.
Barbara, you're good to go.
I'll grab my coat.
But yeah, in just, I had a financial planning practice, right? Doing the finance bro things. And kind of got to a point with that where just the pay style, different things like that. It's like, bro, I got to get something else. I'm too stressed. I can't do this. One of the guys I was working with there, real estate investor, I was like, bro, I'm going to come work for you. He wants me to come work for him, yada, yada. Things are going good for like 2 weeks. And then I stopped getting paid. And it's like, what's going on here? And so just essentially how the real estate game works, right? You don't make money unless you buy something or something closes, right? Because you're getting outside money from different people, different things like that. And that wasn't happening at the moment. So I wasn't getting paid. So that meant I got bills. I got to figure something out. My sister owns a gas station. Well, owns a gas station in Bleep, right? Yeah. Y'all can't know my government.
Right.
And I was like, hey, can I come work for you till I find another gig? And she's like, yeah. It's not work at a gas station.
Dude, that's good. What's your favorite gas station snack, man? I'm a gas station advocate, by the way.
That is That is, what region of the country are we in? Because that matters.
All of them. We're in the region of the country.
The region? Do peach rings?
Okay, I feel like peach rings are in every gas station in the
That's
country.
what, like,
yeah,
that feels like.
that's not really regional.
But he said anywhere.
I know, but
If
you
we're-
said the region.
Like, if you are going to your spot to get your gas station snack, like, what are you getting?
Bro, 7-Eleven, right, has
Okay.
this teriyaki beef jerky.
Okay, welcome to every single gas station
Nah, no.
in America.
See, maybe you missed the 7-Eleven part because they have a unique teriyaki
Like
beef
7-Eleven brand.
jerky. Yes,
Okay.
they have their own
Hmm.
beef jerky. And I,
I feel like that's a step above like a gas station hot dog.
bold of you to assume I wouldn't eat a gas station hot dog.
You would know. I feel like he would have brown spots on his pants if he ate gas station.
When's the
hot
last
dog.
time you checked? Yeah.
What? Why are there polka dots on my couch, Jose?
I'm decorating.
You're right. I love it. There's like one giant polka dot right where you were. What's going on, buddy? What's going on?
I leave gifts everywhere I go.
I love it, man. I love it. Okay, Barbara, do you got a favorite gas station snack?
I think it really depends on the mood, but typically I do go for like I think it's Airheads, but it's like the rainbow stripes, the sour ones.
Okay.
Those are like my go-to.
Airheads are kind of like, they kind of taste like a chemical formation of rubber with flavor.
Dude, you ever seen Flubber?
I mean,
movie?
what's your gas station food, Aaron?
Probably Airheads and teriyaki beef jerky.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Nice.
No.
Sweet
Yeah.
and salt.
I love gas station food. I love gas station snacks. I'm a big gummy guy. I'm a big time gummy guy.
Yeah.
Actually, 7-Eleven has a brand of gummies that is, they always have really great gummies. They really do. They really do. And yeah, so I like that. Have y'all tried the Dr. Pepper Blackberry yet? I just got it.
No, I do like Dr. Pepper though, but I don't like flavored drinks, if that makes sense. Like I don't like cherry in things, or like they had a strawberry one. Didn't like that.
Yeah, me neither. I don't really like flavored drinks. So.
I was questioning you for a second, but that makes sense. I understand why you don't. I've been on a diet for a while, so I haven't had anything.
Anything. He just said anything. Okay, Jose, so you're really big in the athletic world, I'd say. Maybe just like working out, exercise. You're a fitness guy.
Yeah, man.
What do you feel like that's done for you personally? Do you feel like that's actually benefited you, your mental state, your everything? Because you're pretty gung-ho in it. Like you said, you're on a diet, you cut, you do the not cutting. Like, I don't know what all the terms are.
Bulk.
Bulk and cut.
I got you.
Nux.
There you go.
Yeah, man. I feel like I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like for me, fitness and exercise, and this whole journey that I've kind of been on these last few years, has done way more for my mind than it's ever done for my body. Don't get me wrong. I'm getting to a point now where I'm like, dang, boy. Like, I walk past the mirror. I'm like, dude, have you been doing squats? Like, what's going on? So but I still feel like I'm at a point where it's done more for my mind than anything. For me, when I started this, I was in a place where I'm like, me growing as a man, me growing as a person, something that I need to do was work on just discipline. You know what I mean? Just kind of sharpening my mind and such. And I feel like for me, it was something incredibly powerful to get up and go to the gym every day, even when I don't want to, even when no one's watching, and just get up and do this every single day because I said I was going to, not because anyone's keeping count, not because it matters to anybody else in the entire world except me and what I said I was going to do. For me, that was really powerful.
Wow, that's good.
That's awesome.
That's good. I love that, man, and I love it for you.
Not for you?
No, I did go to CrossFit recently, and that reminded me that it wasn't for me. It did.
I feel like CrossFit's like intense.
Yeah,
Like you need to go to like the local like 24-hour gym, like Planet Fitness type of thing, to like ease yourself back into it.
Right, I should have. And matter of fact, when I was at CrossFit, what I would do, what I would do was when they were counting down, they're like, all right, 10 more seconds, 10. And he would always yell time. And so I just started yelling time for him. So everybody would start stopping when I was ready to stop. I was like, time. And we would all stop. And he's like, 19, 18. It was great. It was great.
This is the base all over again, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm not into exercise that much anymore. I'm thinking about getting back into it. We'll see. So y'all are in a relationship. Y'all have been dating for 5 years now, right?
Ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've supported y'all the whole way.
Yes.
You supported us 6 years.
Like
before we knew each other.
The biggest support was
Yeah.
from you.
So matter of
honestly.
fact, whenever Jose was born, I was there and I said, I got the woman for you.
How old are you?
I'm old enough to be there for Jose's birth.
Got it.
And I'm old enough to remember him being there. Because I was like, when? And then he caught me. I was like, oh, my dog. And
Yeah.
I felt safe and secure.
Yeah, dude, because it was like crazy because nobody was there for you. And it was just like, even your mom, she was like, as soon as you came out, she was gone. And so, so I picked you up.
About this podcast, right? Like,
I got a feeling I might have said something that I shouldn't have said.
Yeah, so we've been together for about 5 years. It's honestly been a wild ride. It was how do I want to say this? I was actually just thinking about this. Like, we were so codependent in the beginning, and I didn't realize we were codependent. And it was
we're just hopping right in the deep
yeah,
waters.
Like,
we're,
yeah, sorry. I can go back into the shallow
no.
end.
We're,
it was
my
fun.
floaties are on. We're deep. Let's go
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, Jose can't swim.
Me
Bruh.
and you both.
You can't swim either?
I know how to scream, which normally helps.
Dude, you know what I learned the other day? How to sink. You should try it out, dude.
Dude, you sink, you start sinking, and bubbles start coming up.
Yeah.
People go be there real quick. Most of the time, unless you're alone, and then you realize I'm very alone in life.
That'll preach.
Yep.
As you were saying. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't even remember. But yeah, we've been together for 5 years.
Oh, we used to be codependent. That's what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I didn't even realize that until our pastors who love us to death sat us down and were like, you guys are codependent. And I'm like, no, we aren't. And then it's like, I can't not see him and be around him. And I'm like, it's probably not the healthiest thing.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, y'all been together 5 years. You had this thing where you felt like you couldn't be separated. What did that look like, kind of trying to transition out of that? Like, man, I'm almost addicted to this person. How did y'all healthily do that to where y'all are able to say, man, we're still together 5 years later?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll be honest and say that it's not for us. It wasn't like this strategic plan. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was literally just like, hey, do you want to get better today? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, me too. And then we just kept saying that every single day to ourselves and to each other. And now we're here.
Now you're here.
Yeah, it's definitely a growing thing because even like I would say like a month ago we came to this realization. It's like we need to do better, and then it's like, yeah, we do. And I think it just comes from like open communication, and because we did not have that in the beginning. It was like sunshine and daisies is what was on the outside, and then internally we weren't good.
Yeah, dude. And we can hop right in right now. We can
hop
do
in.
this. So
Hop in, please do.
context-wise, the three of us were just on a panel at our church, right? Just sharing openly about you know, relationships, different things like that. And for us, just getting to preview those questions, that was so revealing for us because it's like finding tension in these questions, you know, like different things about our past, different things about the current situations that we're in. It's like, why have I never told you this? Like, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, why has this never come up in our conversations before? And then finding that you truly do have something there emotionally that's kind of blocking you from truly being, you know, intimate, being present with your partner. That was crazy for us. I don't remember where I was going with that. I'm not going to lie to you, but we'll leave it right there.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, when you are faced with having to be vulnerable, and that's what I love about this podcast, when you're faced with having to be vulnerable, your mind like immediately goes to, wait, I need to say this, but I've actually never said it before because I wanted to put it behind this wall. One, to protect me, and two, because I thought it was going to protect them.
Yeah.
And so once you break that wall down, you realize that you're starting to say, you know what, come into my circle and let's just do life together because we're both equally human. And I love that about y'all's relationship because like I've seen just a few months of it really. And I see how y'all are like, we care about people being in this circle with us. And so we're going to take the steps. We may not be perfect, but we're going to take the steps to get there. And I really appreciate that. Being on that panel was awesome with y'all.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Barbara, what do you have to kind of touch on that?
No, I would agree. Like community is everything. Like in any aspect of life, like not just like within a like boyfriend girlfriend relationship, but like community is everything. Like there are things where I have my girls that I go to who are morally aligned with me and like they love the Lord and they love me and they love Jose and like they want to champion us, and it's like I'll go to them because I'm like I'm about to kill this guy. Like I
actually go to those girls too.
Yeah, Aaron and I have the same girls. But it's like I don't know what to do in this situation. They're like, "Oh, well, we did this and this is how it played out." Or, "Oh, well, we did this." Or, "Yeah, I'm going to get Jonathan and he's going to go talk to Jose." And so like we just have this community of people that we can be real and raw with, and they can also like be real and raw with us, and it's like, yeah, you are in the wrong here. And then I can go back and be like, oh, yeah, Jose, so I'm so sorry about X, Y, and Z.
Or Jose, forget about me being mad at you. We're good now. You don't even have to apologize.
Yeah, like,
get over it.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
Jose, I'm waiting for your apology, but when I made the mistake, it was fine. We can brush past it.
But yeah, community has been pivotal for us.
Wow.
Yeah. I think, to just dive in more about that, because I feel like it's so easy to like look at a church Instagram and be like, oh, community is everything, yada yada, but like it's hard. It's not. If it was easy, every single person would have the best community on earth. I remember early in our relationship, that was really really difficult for me. Like you would be like sharing things we're going through with your friends. I'm like, dude, why? Like, because for me, the way that I grew up and the perception of myself that I had, I always felt like this really really bad guy. You know what I mean? Like I always felt like just the worst guy that's ever existed. And for her to see me, like for Barbara to see me like that was heartbreaking enough for me. Like it was gut-wrenching for me to have this image of this man that I wanted to be and to no longer feel like I could be that man based on the things that she knows about me, right? And then for her to go share that with other people, it's like, you hate me. Like you want to kill me. Dude, this is the worst thing you could ever do to me. It was so hard in the moment. But like looking back, these things I'm so grateful for. Because I don't know if we'd be here tonight if you didn't have people like that in your corner that you could talk to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we wouldn't.
Be Barbara.
It would just be me
Barbara
on
and Aaron on the
podcast.
No.
But yeah, I think it's hard in the moment, but it's worth it.
Yeah, I love that, man. Hard in the moment, but it's worth it. And I think that's every relationship, even outside of a dating relationship. Like you have a dating relationship or married, or you're just friends with somebody. My best friends, we've been through the trenches together, and it's been hard for a moment, but we're going to see it through. And when you do, like, your relationship naturally gets refined to a place where it's like, man, we're actually, I hate that happened to us, but when we got through it, we're like standing so strong right now. The foundation we're on feels so sturdy. I love that. Yeah. Jose, you said it. Were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I remember I heard this quote before we even started dating, and I feel like it's so heavily affected our relationship.
I was just about to ask you this.
Oh, which quote?
Oh, maybe it's a different quote. Keep going.
I mean, I got quotes all day. But the quote was, faith that isn't tested can't be trusted.
Yeah.
And then he went on to explain that everything that isn't tested can't be trusted. Love that isn't tested can't be trusted. So I remember like really difficult conversations with you. And normally these are things I'm not a conflict guy. I don't want to talk about these type of things.
Yeah.
But it's just like, excuse me, we're going to test and we're going to see if this goes. And if she still likes me after this, awesome, let's go. And if she doesn't, this wasn't the one I'm supposed to be with.
Which is so wild because in the beginning of our relationship, and sometimes even now, like I hate conflict.
Yeah.
I do not want to have conflict. Like I don't want to have the hard conversations. I'm getting better about it, but he would be the one that would initiate the hard conversations. So that's why I'm surprised you said you don't like conflict. Like, I maybe not you don't like it, but I feel like you were used to it and used to having conflict where it was easier for you to bring up. But I remember early in our relationship, he would bring up stuff. I would literally, Aaron, I'm not even kidding you. Like, I'm looking dead in your eyes. Okay. I would start crying.
Wow.
And I would leave.
In
like
that order,
I would
immediately.
I would start crying. I would get up. I would put my shoes and coat on. I would leave.
If I was Jose in this, I'm going to be honest. If I was Jose in this situation, I would probably be angry.
Dude, I was.
Like, honestly, it should just be Jose and Aaron on the podcast because
Right.
Barbara would leave
Yeah.
and just be crying in the car on the way home.
So how did you adapt? Like, because I feel maybe it's just a men thing. Like you maybe aren't so in tune with emotions that are raw like that, where you see, okay, man, I don't know how to handle this. I've got to go.
Mhm.
How did you adapt to that and say, I'm gonna love her even when she's hurting like that? Because I brought something up.
Yeah.
Or maybe you haven't. Maybe you're like, I still want to punch her in the face.
So I'm fighting the
Right
urge
in
right
the
now.
throat.
Yeah.
Hold me back. But I genuinely think it's just kind of hinges on what I was saying. Like, we're going to go through difficult times that I don't like. To be honest, when you used to do that, I used to get pissed, dude, because I'm like, what are we doing? Like, do you want to be with me or not? Come fight with me. Just
Fight
because,
with me. Get in the ring.
like, I grew up in some wild situations. I had a really interesting childhood, and I'm so used to chaos that, like, almost to the point where when there's peace, I have to create chaos so that I'm at peace. You know what I mean? So for her to not be receptive to that, for her to not be willing to go back and forth with me and kind of solve this right now in the moment, it's like, dude, I'm pissed. Like, I can't fathom why you're doing this. I think one is just having the vision for our relationship. Like, I always knew Barbara was going to be a beast, right? I was thinking about this the other day. Actually, on the car ride here, I was thinking about this. I always knew that, but you've blown my expectations out of the water. Like, you're so much cooler than I thought you were going to be, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. Like, I thought you were going to be pretty sick. You're way cooler than I thought you were going to be, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah. I love you. So much cooler than I thought.
Wow.
So having that vision of, like, wow, this woman's going to be awesome. This is who I want to be with. And then I think the second thing is, and it's so annoying to say this, but I think it's the truth. It's like genuinely just seeking the Lord on it. Because I don't come from the camp where it's like God's going to exactly select the exact person you're supposed to be with for every single person. He's going to exactly, shine the heaven beam down on it, and you're going to be so clear on it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's so much like God's going to intentionally choose every single person. You're going to love this person for the rest of your life. But I do think he helps you love the person that you choose.
Wow.
So seeking and giving, like, just seeking him in everything, submitting everything to him, that helped me because I don't got the love. I don't have the patience. I don't have anything to be the partnership that she needs and needed then.
Yeah.
But just seeing him come through and supply what I don't have.
Man, that's good. That's good. I love that, man. And I love hearing that with y'all sitting next to each other. You do not, I don't know if I've ever heard anybody in a dating relationship be able to sit down with their person and say that so raw, and so I appreciate that a bunch. They just touched fingers, and now
That sounds so wild.
yeah,
Okay,
I'm uncomfortable.
Put it down.
So we're not allowed to touch fingers in this house, okay?
Apologies.
Hand check.
Never again.
Yeah.
Check me, Pablo.
It's not his name.
Okay, just so you understand why he said
Context, please.
Pablo. I have one of my friends that lives in this house. His name's Rupert, and he hangs from my light in my kitchen.
I feel like you
and I
need
got
to
him in
use more
Mexico.
words because hangs from the kitchen just sounds a little.
He's short, so
Yeah. You want to sit in a chair? Like, what?
he's got a hat. He's got a sombrero on.
Yeah. Rupert.
His name is not Pablo.
Some people
Apologies.
mistake him as a puppet, but he's really just one of my best friends. And so he's a cool guy.
He's actually going to be on the next podcast, right?
Wait, matter of fact,
No?
let's let him speak right now, guys. Everyone, let him speak. Point your mic.
No, trust me. If you let him speak, he won't stop. No. Yeah. So, Jose, you mentioned just you had like a kind of a wild, chaotic childhood. Are you cool to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, you just want me to
Oh
start?
yeah, well, sorry. Yeah, go.
Well, I
knock
was
yourself out.
born, right?
So you grew up where there was a lot of chaos around. You kind of created chaos whenever there was a peaceful moment.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that stemmed from your parents? Do you feel like that stemmed from you're in school and chaos is happening? Where did those relationships kind of fall?
Yeah. I think whenever I talk about my childhood, I feel like the word I would use would be insecure. Not just in self, because I mean we all are insecure at some point, especially growing up. But obviously, I was. I've more so was insecure in like everything, like food, housing, just relationships that I can build and connect with, and kind of model a family after, different things like that. I feel like I grew up very isolated and kind of getting shuffled around a lot. I moved a lot as a kid. My mom has a lot of I don't know the term, something like where your body attacks itself, illnesses, different autoimmune diseases. Yeah, she has a bunch of autoimmune diseases. She has a bunch of different things like that. So her health was always very rocky. And then we won't dive into the person that she is, but she's a character herself. All love and support to her, of course. But yeah, I just think it was for me, it was very chaotic. I feel like I never really ever settled down somewhere and had a place to like this is home, like I always get made fun of because I call San Antonio home, San Antonio, Texas. That's where I was born. And it's just like, for the most part, that's as home as I got. You know what I mean? Because I didn't live there for a long time. I lived there for maybe 4 years in 2 different stints. Long story. But yeah, it's just like I don't have a lot of traditional experiences. Like even as a kid, I don't know how to ride a bike. I don't know how to swim. I don't know how to rollerblade. Like any of that kid stuff didn't happen for me. So yeah, I definitely I experienced a lot of just instability, insecurity in that sense, and then kind of moving into adulthood now, trying to build things, make a name for myself, kind of make just build a home, build a life. I found myself constantly in this place of tension where as I feel like I'm winning, as I feel like I have peace and I'm growing and different things like that, I also feel this tension, just bubbling inside of me. This like a waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, don't unpack your bags, kid, because you're gonna have to pack them again type. So yeah, I think it's a constant thing because it happens today.
So your relationship with your parents, you say your mom's character was kind of just maybe all over the place. Your dad wasn't really in the picture.
Correct. Yeah.
And by the way, I can cut anything out if y'all want me to. I'm not. I want to protect y'all.
Straight shooting.
All right. And Jose, I hate you. I'm just kidding.
Clip that.
Yeah. Cut it. And so where did you find family? Like, who was those people that you went to growing up that you were like, this is the place that I can find peace?
Yeah, I feel like that's the really hard question for me. That still kind of hits me to this day.
Yeah.
I genuinely, and it's one of those things where it's just like you never, like no one ever does anything by themselves. Yada yada. Like someone taught you how to ride a bike, someone taught you how to tie your shoes. But like, I just for my whole life, outside of like state prescribed therapy, I've just never had someone I could just talk to. It'd be like, hey, I want to learn how to ride a bike. You got me. I think I found that person or those people for the first time when I was 17, and I'm about to cry, so stay with me, guys. When I was 17, I was in the midst of it, in the worst time of my life. I was addicted to multiple drugs. I was drinking every single day. I mean, shots in the parking lot before school type of stuff. Just in a really bad place. And a friend of mine invited me to his youth group because they were going up to a winter retreat, and I was like, forget it. If I'm honest, podcast, I was under the influence when he asked me, but I went anyway. And out of some miracle, ended up giving my life to Jesus there. And after that, it's like I don't know what to do anymore. I feel compelled to share this part too, so I will. And I remember it was not a great like service. Like looking back, I don't even remember the message. I don't remember anything that man said. I just remember in a moment I felt this overwhelming like presence, if you will. Like there's something else besides me in this room. Like it feels like, yeah, I'm in a room with 1,000 kids, but it's just me and something else here right now. And I remember I'd never had felt like that up until that point. And I remember I got back because they did the whole explanation. Yeah, this is Jesus, yada yada. It's like, whatever. Like I'm the coolest guy at this camp. These camp is for nerds. I'm the coolest guy that's ever been here. And I remember we get back to the cabin and
I'm giving away shots after this.
Yeah. It's like, dude, you know what I got lined up back home when I get home?
Perk in my bag, bro.
Yeah, I remember I laid down in the cabin and I was about to go to sleep and just kind of reflecting on the day. And I feel like that's where I really gave my life to Jesus. Not necessarily in the, the moment, raising your hand, standing up, yada yada. Just I remember I was like, dude, if there's a chance any of that was real, if there's a chance what I just experienced, what I just felt was real, like, I will give you everything.
Wow.
I have nothing to give you, but you can have it all.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man, that started that. And from that point, it's like, okay, what do you do?
Yeah.
And came back to church. We had a youth pastor at the time. Well, he wasn't officially the pastor, but his name was Lewis. Now he's Pastor Lewis. That's my guy. And then Pastor Muta. Am I allowed to name drop on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm name dropping it.
Name drop on here.
Aaron gives the whole government name.
Oh yeah, dude. I will if they any of my friends, I'm dropping their full name.
Sick.
And then I'll tag them on Instagram and clip everything. It's great.
All the worst moments of their life.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm gonna share this from the first episode. I told a story about Zach and Zach McIntyre, government name. Actually, Zachary McIntyre.
What's his middle name? Sorry.
And so me and him, we got like super drunk in the episode, or not in the episode. we're like you're like sitting in the corner while I'm talking.
You didn't offer that to us. So.
Yeah, and he calls me after the episode releases, and he's like, "Why in the world would you tell everybody on the internet that?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "That I would spray foam my sink in my trailer." You're an idiot.
That's the part.
Yeah.
That was the breaking point.
That was the problem. And I was like, "You're not mad about getting drunk?" He's like, "No, that story's hilarious."
Wild.
To be fair, it was hilarious.
It is a funny story. But yeah, name drop. So go for it.
PM.
Yeah. Pastor Muta and then Lewis, who's now Pastor Lewis. I just remember I met these guys, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I know when I leave school, I'm gonna go pop some pills, smoke some weed, drink some alcohol, hook up with some girls. You know what I mean? Because that's just what I did. So I just started hanging around with them, just doing Pastor Lewis, Pastor Muta stuff, and I feel like it's really difficult to put in words what those two have meant for me. Not only in my faith walk, but just thinking my life. I've never had people like them in my life, who just are there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like growing up, I didn't grow up with a father, and I feel like one of the biggest things is like guys would go fishing like other kids, and it was awesome. Seeing them ride their bike with their dad. That's not really what I wanted. At the end of the day, what I really wanted was, I just wanted someone to help me. You know what I mean? Like, I have these huge dreams for my life. I want to work in finance. I want to own a business, different things like that. I don't know how to do it. I don't even know if I'm capable of doing it. So what I really craved as a child was just someone to be there and tell me that it's possible. To be there and help me along the way. To be there and just remind me that it's all going to be okay. And those two have been that for me and more. Man, yeah. So I don't think I necessarily had it. Those people that you asked about growing up, but I think finding those two people, some of the most transformational relationships I've ever had in my life.
Man, and I love Pastor Muta and I love Pastor Lewis. They've kind of stepped in for me too, just being there as human beings, loving me. And they love it's insane. Like Pastor Muta says, yeah, I won't judge anybody because I simply know that I am so judgeable. and I'm paraphrasing that, by the way. So Pastor Muta, if you're listening to this and you're like, that's not what I say. But like I love that about him, because I remember I go sit in his car and I'm weeping. I'm just weeping. I'm like, dude, I can't take it anymore. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And he's just like, man, he just hears you and he loves you still. Like, he'll still smile at you on Sunday. He'll still dap you up, and it's amazing. It's like it's amazing. I love that so much, Jose. And I sincerely think you would be an insanely good business owner and an insanely good entrepreneur in general. So I love that being a vision of yours. Barbara, all right, where you're at in your life right now. I don't actually know a ton about your growing up. So where you're at in your life right now, you just seem to have like this bubbly personality, almost like this, like, oh man, I'm fun, I'm willing to step in and help people and love people.
We have that on recording. I'm bubbly.
Do you not have the bubbly person? I feel like you're just a nice person. You always every time you walk in the room, you're like, Aaron, how are you doing today? And I'm like, Barbara intentionally came to me and asked me how I'm doing, and I've always appreciated that. Growing up, did you always have that, or was this something that you had to adapt to?
I feel like growing up, I was like this perfectly happy kid. We literally, Jose and I had very polar opposite childhoods.
Yeah.
I was in this Jesus conflict-free bubble that my parents created for my sisters and I.
Okay.
Like, we grew up on the lake. Like, summers were just fun. Like, everything, like, we were like the picture perfect family, and everything was sunshine and daisies. And then college hit, and not prepared for the world at all, and got into drugs and alcohol. And I think when was that?
25?
Yesterday.
In the year of our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
No, I think it was 2023.
Okay.
One of my good friends, Pastor Taylor, she came up to me and we were talking, and
You're not allowed to name drop that one.
oh,
I'm just kidding. I love
sorry.
Pastor
So
Taylor.
bleep and bleep.
Bleep. I actually
but
have like a sound effect where I can bleep it out. I love it.
But
Can we try it later?
Yeah, we can try it.
Yeah.
Later. Yeah, I would love to.
I think it would really benefit
Benefit what?
the podcast.
Oh, if I used a lot of
Yeah.
bleeping.
Here,
That
I'll
would
just
be
try it
fun.
right now. You ready?
Well, I don't remember which one it is, so I might actually make
Shit.
you.
You bleeped that, right?
No, we're keeping it, bro. We're keeping it.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Pastor Taylor in 2023.
But yeah, she came up to me. I don't even know if she'll remember this, but she came up to me and she's just like, "You're not a happy person." And I was like, "What the heck?" Like, casual conversation turned serious. And I was like, yeah. And I think she mentioned something about like I should go into therapy. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then just like series of events, like I learned just a lot of things about the relationships of like the marriages that I looked up to in my life. I just learned a lot of things about them. And then I had a conversation with my mom, and she was just like, "You're not the daughter that I raised. Like, what happened?" And I was like, what
a
the
phrase for your
heck?
mom to say that.
Yeah,
It's gotta be
like,
kind of crazy in your mind.
like deep fear of mine is disappointing people.
Oh,
So when
yeah.
she's like, "You're not the daughter I raised," I was like, what the heck? And so then I started going to therapy, and honestly, just the amount of things that I realized I was carrying and that had affected me, because it was always like there was this like significant or traumatic event and I was on the outskirts of it. So like it didn't happen to me, but it happened to one of my friends, or it didn't happen to us, but it happened to my roommate or the girl who was across the hall. So it was like I was always around like these like big traumatic events or at these parties where something bad happened. And I didn't realize how much that had affected me and affected that bubbliness. So I started going to therapy and just uncovering so much stuff and just processing so much stuff. And it was one of the things that I had talked about with her was because I was like, all these people, like, they just see me as I was like a year ago or as I was 2 years ago. Like, they don't see like who I am now and like the progress I've made. She was like, do people remember the good or the bad more? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, you might do like a good act for someone, but they're going to remember the bad stuff more. I'm like, what the heck? So it's like, there's still some people who I met during that time in my life where I was mean. I was sarcastic. I was so many words that you could use to describe that time that we would need the bleep for. But yeah, so now on the other side of that, I feel like I am starting to get more bubbly, and I do like genuinely when you were talking about Pastor Muta and Pastor Lewis, I was like, they see people.
Yeah.
Like they're so intentional with people, and that's something that like I admire so much. And being on staff at Relevant, it's just like that's what people do. Like we see people and we're intentional with people, and just being around that culture, I feel like allows me to be like, yeah, oh, Aaron, hey, Aaron, like, how are you? Like, even there was one time you came in and you're like, yeah, I'm good. And I'm like, no, you aren't. And it was just like, I could like see you where you were at. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been awesome. A process.
That's super. Go for it.
Could I just take a second? Because I feel like we talk about this a lot privately, but I would love to just kind of honor you publicly. You know, your journey through therapy and everything has been so sick to experience. I feel like the coolest thing we get to do as humans is just like witness the life of another person. You know what I mean? All the meaningless, insignificant moments and make them mean something to you. And I feel like I'm just so incredibly proud of your journey. Shout out to your therapist. Shout out to Mary.
Mary, I love her.
Come on, Mary.
But
what's her full government name? What's her Instagram? What's her phone number? What's all this stuff?
Text it.
I'll tag it in the comments.
Yeah, but I genuinely feel like the work that you and Mary have done selfishly has given me more of the woman that I love.
Wow.
Like I feel like I have way more of you now than I had even a year ago, even 6 months ago.
Wow.
That's
It's so cool. And I'm very thankful for you and your hard work.
I love that. Barbara, so I love that you mentioned therapy. I love that you have a passion for therapy. Big advocate for it. Actually, I was in therapy for the longest time, and I remember I didn't have a job at this time, so like I wasn't bringing in income, and I was living on support. I was like a missionary, and I remember it. I didn't realize it charged my card every week. And so like I would meet every week with my therapist, but there was weeks I didn't meet, and I was like, oh, it's not charging my card. Sure enough, it was still charging my card, and I realized it was giving me more anxiety. I was going because I needed to get rid of anxiety, and I realized I was like, oh, my bank account's in the negative right now, like $100 and something.
Oh gosh.
We're gonna have to pause on this. So, yeah, it's one of those things I'm jumping back into real soon. So I love that. So I remember you mentioned, we've kind of talked about this a little bit. You kind of had fun in college.
I was outside.
You were outside.
I was, yes.
Yeah, you were like in the wilderness.
I mean, he said you were in the Sahara.
In the Sahara.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was unwell.
Okay.
And I was, because we went from me.
We is crazy.
Yeah, me and all the personalities. I'm kidding.
Barbara and I.
Jose was with me all the way.
To cut something out, it's now.
Okay.
But no, oh my gosh, I did it again. What the heck? We grew up in this bubble, my sisters and I, and then going to college, didn't have family around. And like, I have a big family, and we're loud. I always like to joke that we're Greek because we're loud. Everyone makes food. Everyone has babies. And so going into college, there was no one around, and it was just me by myself. I didn't even know my roommate. So we had met the first day on move-in day. And yeah, it just spiraled into this thing. This was actually one of the things that when we were going through those questions, when we were with the panel, yeah, so one of my friends in college, she got, I don't know if I can talk about this. Can I talk about this?
Talk about it.
Okay. She got raped by a guy that was in my study group. And it was like I had introduced them and like we had all hung out. And so that happened. And then the next day I was in class with him. And it was like I had spent all night in the hospital with her. And now we're in class. And so for how she coped, she started going out more. And it was like me and my roommate didn't want something to happen to her again, so we started going out with her. Wow. And like I was the DD, and it went into a no, like I'm not drinking, to after you ask me so many times and be like, yeah, I'll have a drink, yeah, I'll take a shot. Right. And then that just kind of snowballed into the spring semester of my freshman year, where I was not sober at all. Like I was either high or I was drunk, just all the time. And it was like this dual identity, because at school I was one person, and then when I went home I was just Barbara, who did all the youth group things and like was like the goody two shoes, like honor rolled, 4.0 GPA. And I just like separated myself. So like at school I was one place with family and friends. Like I was someone completely different. And then second year, fall semester, went back and went right back into the swing of things, hanging out with the wrong people, doing horrible things. And then winter break, my sophomore year of college, I came home and I got coffee with my old youth pastor, and he didn't know it, but we kind of had like similar stories with like drugs and alcohol. But I kept that separate. And I remember we were getting coffee and he looked at me and he was like, he probably doesn't even remember this, but Jeremy Groff, shout out to him.
Shout out to Jeremy.
Yeah, I love it.
But he was like, I don't know what you've been going through or what you've been doing, but like this is all for a purpose. And I just started, we were at Martin's, I just started breaking down. Shout out to Martin's. Love their paninis.
Big dubs.
Yeah.
But I just started like crying, like that like hit me, because I was like, he doesn't know, but like he sees me. Wow. Like he sees it. And so went back for the spring semester, and I remember I was hanging out with the group of guys I would normally hang out with, and they brought like because they didn't have this transformational speech at Martin's, so they were doing like the normal things, and I was like, I can't be around this. So like I got up and I left. And it was like I went back a few, like I think it was like a week or two later, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that around you. I was like, awesome, sweet. And then they brought it out, and I was like, I can't be around this. And then it was probably like February or March. I was like, I can't be here anymore. It's like everything educational wise was going well, but like mentally and emotionally, I was like, I can't be here because it's just like a slippery slope for me. So I applied to a nursing school at a different college, and I got accepted, and I didn't tell anyone. Wow. Like, this is how a conflict avoidance I am. I didn't tell anyone.
You were about to pretend like you were going to invite them to a graduation and say they changed the graduation.
Aaron,
see you guys in biomed tomorrow.
Yeah.
It gets better. So we finish out the semester. I move all my stuff out of my apartment and come back home. I work at this amazing summer camp all summer. Don't talk to anyone from college. Yeah. Like, no one. move-in week comes. I text my boss because I worked at the library and I was like, hey, I'm quitting. I texted my roommates and I was like, hey, I'm not coming back. Like move-in week, like day of moving in. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be there. Shout out to you guys. Love you all so much. And honestly, I have not seen them since.
Wow.
Like, it's nuts. So yeah, and I feel like addiction is just like in my family. Like I feel like whether it be like alcohol or drugs or just like just anything, like we have like very addictive personalities.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I didn't see that ending well. And having that shifting conversation with my old youth pastor, it was like I have to get out.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Yeah, addiction will sneak in. It will destroy you from the outside and then make people notice it or destroy you from the inside, and people will start to know it from the outside, and you won't even know it because you think you're still being destroyed on the inside.
Yeah.
Dude, like I will never. We kind of share similar in that, like, my whole family, like, everyone in my family has had some type of open heart surgery from, like, coke abuse. You know, like, it's rampant in my family. And I won't ever claim the title of, like, addict or alcoholic because I feel like it's kind of like when people like to organize their highlighters and like, oh, I'm OCD. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever want to claim that for myself.
You like to just know where your stuff's at, bro. Relax. Yeah. Just because you take the cans of pop out and put them in your refrigerator as opposed to putting the box in there does not make you OCD.
Don't even get me started on like the moms who are Instagram famous now for organizing their fridges. Like,
yeah, dude.
Nice.
I love
good
that
job.
so much though. Like that just
I
brings
do
me
like
so
that
much
stuff.
joy.
Yeah, I am really picky on how things look.
Mute
so
her
get
mic.
it. Let me bleep
Anyways.
that real quick.
Oh yeah, but because we're talking about how I can't swim and drowning and everything like that.
Yeah.
And that's like the analogy I use because it literally. Have you guys ever drowned before? Like genuinely, like drowned?
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Like, you know, when you get to that point where you spasm, like your body is
Oh, I haven't
genuinely
gotten
like
that
physically
far.
spasm. Like you're past the point of air. It's like now I'm like.
Jesus is really beautiful, by the way.
Wait. What?
I saw him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But like you get to a point where you have no oxygen.
Yeah.
And your muscles, like, it's the craziest. It hurts so bad, and I feel like that's what addiction feels like. Like it's like when you're down at the bottom of that pool, literally like your body's going into autopilot, like spasming for air, spasming for life. Like you're not thinking about anything else but this. And like that's what it's like 24/7. You know.
Right. And then you get that like I feel like now I'm just playing on your analogy, and you get that little kick up where you get that little small little bit of air, and you go right back down.
Yeah,
it happens.
You
all
catch
over
a stone
again.
on your foot or something, and you get to jump. And yeah,
man, this should be in a sermon somewhere. This is good. I'm gonna write this down.
Book coming soon.
Yeah, dude. You said book coming soon?
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely joking.
Yeah, dude. Listen,
maybe one day.
Write a book, man. Write a book. Yeah, I love that. I love that analogy, and I agree with that analogy. I think addiction, like you said, I think people are like sometimes they might call themselves an addict, and they're not. It's not really addiction. But I think we actually have an addiction pandemic in this world to things that we don't even know we're addicted to.
Yeah.
Addiction is like when you have this craving and desire to go to something so that you can feel a little bit better. And so cell phone, pornography, even just like even sexual relationships or alcohol. Those are all things that can easily be abused for those reasons. In y'all's life, now that you have found yourself, you know, you kind of came from that let me party and cope. You came from I'm scrambling to survive. Where has that shown up in your relationship, and how are you finding yourself a way to resolve it?
That's a good question.
I don't even think we thought about that yet.
No, we haven't. But
You guys
what
are
a
about to be in
time.
open conversations with
Yeah.
Barbara and Jose for the first time.
Yeah.
He's like, cut. Yeah, they start yelling.
Yeah, I
Barbara
actually
starts crying and leaves.
I'm taking the dog.
Jose's like, I'm pissed right now. I can't do this.
No, I have a friend and I get together every once in a while, and she calls it Unhinged Thoughts with Barbara. So that's what we're gonna step into right now.
Love it.
I
Can you have like a sound effect there, like a
Go, yeah, give me one.
cut. Cut.
yeah. So anyway,
Barbara.
Immediately no.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like we have the saying like where you show up one place, you are everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I feel like coming from that, like I wrote it down because it made me think of it literally in this podcast.
You wrote it down while we were podcasting?
Yeah, because I was like, wow, what a thought. Like I need to literally, it's in my questions to talk about with Mary.
Wow.
But like, what a thought, because I feel like I can be really good in chaotic situations. I used to work in an ICU, and I feel like those kinds of like controlled chaos situations I'm really good in because I want to fix it to get back to the peace.
Wow. Yeah.
And so I feel like when we were together in the beginning, it was this was my first relationship, like official relationship.
Nice.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, high five,
Yeah.
Aaron. But it was just like, I didn't know like what was normal and like what we do and what we don't do. And so it was just like figuring that out and basing it off of the relationships that I knew. So like my parents, I didn't see conflict from them, like any type of conflict, good or bad. And so when we got together, he would try and have these conversations. I'm like, whoa, like we don't talk about that. And then I would start crying and I would leave because I was like, I can't handle this stressful situation. And so I would just leave, like, because I didn't know how to like problem solve, like how to have that conflict. And yeah, so it didn't start out too well. No, not at all.
Jose, do you got an answer for that?
Yeah, I think especially when we started out, and this still affects me today, but especially when we first started dating, I'm saved, right? Saved by Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior.
Amen.
I wish I could tell you how different I am today than I was. Like I wish we could just do Scrooge. What is that play? You know, the past
Christmas Carol?
Yeah, I wish we could do a Christmas Carol side by side because it's insane. Like I never thought I would be the person I am today. I never even thought I'd be alive at this age today. I always thought I was going to die at 21. I don't know why I always had that number in my head, but we're 23. We made it, baby.
Extra credit.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like I'm so different. My mind is different. Everything else is different, but I still have the same memories, right?
Wow.
And I grew up here. Like I'm in the same town I grew up in. So it's like now I feel the pressure to be different. Like I know I'm different already, but now I feel the pressure to be different. Especially my journey in ministry. You know, I went from selling drugs to being an intern at the church. You know what I mean? And then from intern to staff member, different things like that. So for me, that came with expectation as well, where it's like I need to be farther along in the journey and everything. The same goes for us, where it's like even in Barbara and I's relationship, there are still certain things where I could never be present with her because I was so stuck on the past and the memories and all these different things. And now I'm overcompensating for that, trying to be this whole other different guy. No, I'm the funny, nice guy, you know, not the guy who, you know, used to do all this crazy stuff, yada, yada. So I think in the beginning, and I even feel it nowadays, occasionally, now it's just easier to catch knowing what it is. But especially starting out, it's like, I couldn't even really be here. You know what I mean? Because I'm so focused on trying to be this guy, trying to hide who I was, trying to be acceptable. Trying to be acceptable in your eyes, or at least how I thought you viewed me, and how I thought you viewed what you you wanted. Wow, that was a lot in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was hard for me to be present for a while.
So now you're both at a place where I feel like it's noticeable that you're both present for each other. Obviously there's probably moments where you're like, man, let me just go hide in the closet for 12 hours and nobody talk to me.
Real.
And then there might be hours where you're like, if I don't see Barbara right now, I'm going to punch my head through a wall because I just want to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
But for the people that are listening right now, and maybe they're about to jump in a relationship, maybe they're in a relationship and it's going well and they want to keep that traction, or maybe they're in the same spot you're in right now, or same length of relationship that you're in right now, and they're just like, man, I'm in a hard spot. What are the things that you would tell them? Encouragement, man, or like, you know what, just drop out.
Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, quit.
I'm joking.
5 years in, quit while you're ahead, guys.
Yeah, dude, we did it.
I feel like I would have two.
Yeah.
One, okay, now hear me out. Stay with me, okay? Every house has a toilet, okay?
I love a good toilet.
A good one? Yes. A regular one is like,
A bad one, though.
Like a bidet, okay?
Yeah, but they
No.
will change your life.
Yeah, nice little.
Anyway.
I love a
As you were
little
saying.
bit of water just spraying on my
So,
butthole.
yeah,
Your booty.
okay. Reel it in,
Booty
fellas.
water. Okay.
So every house has a toilet. And I'm not saying that, like, in the sense of, like, everyone has their flaws. Like, everyone has their baggage. I'm not saying, like, if you're in, like, a domestic abuse situation, like, obviously you deserve way more than that. Like, don't stay in that type
Right.
of thing. But, like, everyone is going to have their flaws and their baggage. It just comes down to I want to be there with you for it. Like,
Yeah.
I want to, like, see this through. Like, I want to help unpack this stuff because, like, you're also a house. You have your own stuff too. Like, there's all of these, like, past incidences and memories and events that took place in my life. And it's like, I'm bringing those into the relationship. Like, why would I expect anything less from the person that's on the other side of that relationship?
Yeah.
So I think it just comes down to just being willing to, like, work through each other's messes with each other. And then I would also say what we talked about earlier, community. Like,
Yeah.
because anyone can have, like, we all have community, but having community that you are real and raw with, like, because I can have, like, this great support system, but if I'm not saying anything to them, like, if I'm not like, hey, this is what's actually going on in my life, like, there's going to be no benefit from it.
Right. That's good. That's amazing. Community is important. Even when you're not dating, I think.
Yeah,
community is important.
any type of community, like
Yeah.
work, friendships, family, like, it's not just relational based.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jose?
Yeah.
Tag?
I feel like I have two things as well. Look at us, twinsies.
They're actually the exact same as yours.
Copy
Yeah, I
You took
paste.
the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, I think community for me is okay. No, I honestly think the biggest blessing that ever happened to our relationship was when I told Pastor Muta I liked Barbara. So off the rip, take notes, people. Take notes. I don't know why I'm looking at the computer like they can, like I'm looking at them through the computer. Take notes.
Open up
podcast
your notebook
listeners.
right now.
I'm not gonna say Barbara and I have done everything 100% correct in our relationship
Because we haven't.
We have not. We're batting maybe 200%.
But you're still up to bat. You
Yeah.
know?
This next one's gonna be a homer. I feel good.
I feel good. This
Um,
next year, we're gonna be doing well. It's gonna be our top year.
But yeah, we haven't done everything right, obviously. One of the things where I'm like, we got this right to an extent, because even in the getting it right, we didn't get it all the way right. When I told Pastor Muta I was interested in Barbara, I was like, man, I like this girl. Wanted to be my girlfriend. Want to sing T-Pain songs to her for the rest of our lives, right? That's exactly what I said. He was like, you should wait because you're not ready and neither is she. So context-wise, I was in youth, right? I was a high school student. Barbara's one of my youth leaders.
Pause.
Bro, relax. I'm getting there, bro. Relax. Relax.
Hold on. I'm going to cut this
No.
for the protection of everyone. And we're not even going to use this episode anymore. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, cut it.
Barbara's like, please.
I was a student. She was one of my youth leaders. She didn't know I liked her. She didn't know that at all. I waited till after I graduated. Boom, bada bing. I'm on staff at the church. I'm graduated now. And I tell her, like, I'm 18. She's 21. And I tell him, like, hey, I like this girl. And he's like, first of all, for your own protection, chill out. Just wait. Second of all, see if you're really interested in this. And I feel like that was one of the greatest periods for us. Like, it was hard doing it. We're bad at it. But I think it was one of the greatest things for us because, like, this became my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think just the way that I came up, the way that I treated women, the amount of porn that I've seen in my life, let's just be honest, people.
Right.
It's like I had this dangerous perception of women, let alone this woman in front of me. And for the first time, in that, we waited 9 months before we made it official. And for the first time in that season, it's like, wow, this is a person. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like first and foremost, she became my friend. And now she's genuinely my best friend in the whole world. You know what I mean? Like, we're 5 years in, we're going to get married. Just going to let you guys know right now. If something crazy were to happen and we didn't get married, I don't feel like I would regret anything from this past 5 years. Wow. It's like, it's been the honor of my life getting to know you the way that I have. Like, you are my best friend. And I think having that is a great, like, that's where this starts. You know what I mean? If you love her, awesome. If you don't, and that's just your friend, awesome. You know what I mean? Like, there's no lose here. So I think strong friendship, it has to be a building block in your relationship. Second thing, I feel like, especially Christian men, we're always like, I need a woman that's going to submit. You know what I'm saying? I need a woman that's going to do what I say.
Proverbs 31.
Type beat. And I feel like we have a lot of Christian guys who have no vision for their own life. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know where they want to go. I'm not saying that's bad. You know what I mean? You don't have to have it all together right now. So please forgive me if this comes across as like shame-inducing or anything like that. But if you don't have a vision for your life, how could you ever enroll somebody else into it and begin to build that vision?
Or force a vision upon them.
That's what I mean. A vision that isn't complete.
Right.
You want them to follow a map that's not complete.
Right.
Essentially. So I think that is a big thing because even that helps define what this relationship is, right? That helps define if I like the way she's talking to me. If she has like this crazy tone, I'm like, girl, this ain't who we are. This ain't who we want to be. Like, what are we doing right now? You know what I mean? So having that road, I mean, that's just vision in general. Vision for your own life, vision for your business, vision for your company, whatever.
Yeah.
So having that vision ahead, everything filters through that. So kind of knowing where we want to go, knowing the people that we want to be, knowing the family that we want to have, that helps us along the way. It's like, could we go? I'm gonna get real, podcast. Could we go have sex in the back of my car right now? Is anybody checking on us? No. Does that match the vision that we have for our future and our relationship? No. So boom, we don't do it.
Yeah. I love that. And that's exactly how you kind of have to think a little bit future minded for a relationship to be healthy.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that.
You can't, because if it were just moment by moment, like, we'd probably have a kindergartner by now.
We'd have 12 kids. All right?
But like if it were moment by moment, one of the times I would have walked out crying, he would have been like, absolutely not. Or one of the times he would have started to do something and I'd be like, yeah, absolutely not. Like, we can go find something else somewhere else.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's having that like bigger picture. Like, it's not just this moment, like it's a life.
Wow. That is so true. That is so true. And if you want something to be healthy, you have to keep on saying, we're going to look to what we want to have in the future. So we're not going to do this now so that we protect what the real vision is, because we're going to create the vision even though we might not have the vision.
Facts.
That's good.
I love that so much. Do y'all have any closing thoughts? Any thoughts that you're like, man, I want the world to know this about Jose, or I want the world to know this about Barbara, or I want the world to just know this?
I'll share a bit of what I shared at rally this morning.
Yeah,
right?
please do.
You weren't there. I forgot to send you my notes. I'm sorry.
You did.
I'm sorry. It's this concept of 4,000 weeks, right? 4,000 weeks being 76 years, the average lifespan being 78. 4,056 weeks doesn't roll off the tongue, right? So let's say 4,000 weeks. That's your life.
Yeah.
I think the question that I would leave each person with is, what are you going to do about it?
Wow. What are you gonna do about
I
it?
feel like I should have gone first because that was really good.
No, you got it.
I'm in the healthcare field, and two, I just love analogies. I'm very like a visual person,
Yeah.
and just something that like I've been processing through is scar tissue. Just like when someone gets cut, or like when something happens, like any type of like trauma, any type of like social issue, anything like that, like the scar tissue, like the cut happens and then the skin and the muscle come back, and it's typically thicker and it's stronger. And so I feel like people with any type of like I don't know how I want to say this, but like trauma or like addiction, because I feel like we've been talking about that a lot. Like I feel like people think like the brokenness kind of is like a weakness and it keeps them back, but from that brokenness, like the thing that comes after is so much stronger than the skin that you had before. So yeah, just an encouragement to, yeah, you have those 4,000 weeks. Like don't let these traumas and these things keep you back. Like they're actually making you stronger for what you're stepping into next.
Come on. I love that. It's like Deadpool.
Exactly like Deadpool. Exactly
Aaron,
like Deadpool.
Aaron, it's like you're in my head.
yeah, I knew you were about to say that, so I figured I'd finish your sentence. No, that's awesome. I love all of that, and this has been an amazing conversation that we've been able to have. Thank y'all so much for both coming on. This is the Love Works podcast, and this was a good episode. I love you a bunch. Peace out.